Hello to my American Horror Story historians. My name is EJ and welcome to my channel. You guys got this channel to 7,000 subscribers just by talking about goofy, queer stuff, horror stuff, and AHS. You know, tonight is a big episode of American Horror Story, so let's get into it with Ava Hestia. Oh my goodness, we finally got the backstory episode. We have been waiting for something to kind of fall into place, to learn what the hell is happening, who's who, how long has this been happening? Well, it has been happening since like 42 AD. Whoa, 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 whoa. I am so impressed with this episode. To me, this is the best episode of Delicate we've had yet. Look, I love Anna Alcott and Siobhan and all those characters. They're really fun and they're very integral to the main plot. But this story, meeting Addie, who is Dexter's ex-wife, seeing how long this has been happening, learning who Addie and who Sonia both are, this really it just let me fall in love with this season in a different way. Look, I've enjoyed the ride. I've been very, very positive about AHS Delicate, even when some people have been real hateful towards the season, if it's, Kim K's casting or it's a little too slow and weird. Look, all of our questions have not been answered, and that's fine. To be honest, I don't expect everything to be wrapped up in a perfect bow, but this episode really proved why I've been such a big fan of Delicate so far. It is witchy, truly, the way powers work here when they're moving people and erases memory and things like that. It was throwing me back to Coven, and we always want that, but I honestly did not want a direct sequel to Coven. I already had Apocalypse. I've already closed that chapter with Cordelia and all those people. I've closed that off in my life, though I would always see more Madison Montgomery. Yeah, I was happy to see witches in AHS again, but it's not what we've known and loved. These witches are different than the ones we've seen before. Yes, their powers may be there. Yes, they are, witches in what seems to be a demonic coven, but they're not our witches. These are very dark, evil forces. Are they evil? Probably, most likely they did set a woman ablaze today, so seems to be pretty evil. But yeah, I really liked what this episode set up. The acting in this episode, I'm still dealing with Dexter's parents, but goodness, that scene of "this is how you were made," that gross image, that was the grossest thing. I've seen people put them hands inside women's bellies today, and it was less gross than watching Dexter's dad hook up with faceless woman. Ugh. Whoa, what did you all think of this? Because it was truly an experience. So this is my little review section where I break down my overall feelings. Next up, let's talk about the episode piece by piece, because there's a lot to get into, and if I miss anything crazy, let me know in the comments. But let's get into Ava Hestia and it's all of its madness. We are at 42 AD. I mean, we went back in time. For my American Horror Story historians, our little pinpoint of the timeline for AHS just went from the 1800s to a lot further than that. Wow. And in this intro, we're meeting Cara, Deviglia's character, who we know as Ivy in the main timeline. She is giving birth to twins, and it seems to be a hard birth. I mean, it's 42 AD. Baby walking outside was a hard time. So, she gives herself a C-section, gets the twin girls out, and she seemingly dies. But a witchy woman, the ones in the very feather, beautiful, avant-garde couture outfits that we see, come and bring her back to life. And this starts the journey, what we learn to be Addie and Sonia. Wow, I was not expecting that. I wasn't expecting Addie and Sonia to be legit sisters. I knew they looked like each other, that's been a big talking point. But for them to be actual sisters, that was quite a moment. But we jumped to, I was going to say present day, but 2013, and we're seeing Dexter and his Adeline wife, just kind of live their life. There's a conversation we've seen throughout this whole show of she does not want a child. She wants to have her career. She's a pretty well-off chef doing a vegan restaurant, which... Sure, 2013 vegan restaurants were all of the rage. They're still there, but that was a very 2013 thing to do. So yeah, she wants her life. She does not want to deal with Dexter, a baby, the dog that he's surprised on her. She does not want that, but there's always something beckoning to her, that's calling to her. And it's her mysterious past, her weird sister, her weird mother, who is Ivy. I mean, I'm still trying to process that being a thing. So yeah, we're seeing a very similar story to Addie and Dexter that Dexter and Anna went through, but there's a slight difference there, and we can see why the witches put Anna into this thing because she seems to be a tiny bit more subservient and more hungry for a baby than Addie was, but she's still also, again, wanting that career. That's a very major theme throughout the show. And my women out there, please, you can do it all. I'm trying to raise a child, film a video right now. He got in trouble. You know what I mean? Like, it's like we I'm not a mother, but like as parents, you do this thing. You sacrifice so much of some things, but you don't have to sacrifice who you are as an artist, as a person, as a businesswoman, as anything to have a child. Find a way to make it work. And that's what we're trying to see here. But my goodness, also, if you don't want children, don't have children either. It's fully justified, and I'm fully on Addie's side where, like, I don't want a baby. I want to have a good career. That's fine as well. I feel like the struggle of having both is a conversation, and you can also have neither or both. Choose what you want, and I feel like Addie did not get that choice because her sister and her mother and the rest of the coven really want her to have more of a, what do they call it? Pure product? Ugh. As the episode jumps around in time, we are in 1243, I think, and we're seeing the Ivy, Sonia, and Addie relationship in a very weird way. I don't know. Addie seems to, again, always not want to be part of this. She seems to have left the coven. We learn that as well with the Nicolette character. Seems like she tried to dip out as well. Nicolette shows up. Bleeding mouth lady from the bathroom shows up. It seems like these witches are truly around and have been around forever, and it seems like maybe the babies or the demonic forces is what's keeping them young, especially at the end when they're rubbing the blood all over them. We'll talk about that in a moment. But yeah, I'm kind of confused on why Addie and Sonia were always kind of at edge with each other. Why weren't they in sync? What does that mean? Does Sonia have any actual feelings for Addie? Because, she's, I love you, my sister, but I'm like, you set her ablaze later on. How much love is there? Are you just all there to advance the coven? Is there a supreme to this coven? Is that what Kim K's Siobhan going to be? There's so many things happening here. But again, we're back and forth in time. Dex's parents are a hot mess. We'll talk. Actually, let's get all the Dex parents shit out of the way now. Dex's dad is yelling at the mom, do not contradict me. He, chloroforms her, and then all of a sudden we see she's passed out. All the witches are there. They're draining her blood, possibly. What are they doing with her? And he's hooking up with one of the witches, and I'm like, ugh, that was gross. And then Dex gets his memory erased. He does not remember that moment. I wish I can get that image out of my head. And is there a witch here to burn that image out of my head, please? Basically, throughout this whole episode, it is members of the coven trying to get Addie back into the fold forcefully. By the end, as we see, she returns into this coven in a begrudgingly way. But yeah, I liked to throughout seeing Michaela J, and I liked seeing the bathroom lady and Cara Delevingne were great. These are all really fun actresses, and really seeing them build towards a very literal, explosive, it felt like, ending where they force upon her, they rip her open and they're putting her blood all over her. I feel like I'm missing a major part of this episode that I'm not talking about. Oh, the other lady, what was the one that is always friends with Dex who did the gallery with him? I always get her name. It poofs out of my head. Every episode, they're like, hello, woman. And I'm like, yes, that's not Nicolette. That's not Ivy. Who the hell is she? Tell me in the comments, please. But yes, we find out she is part of the coven as well. We kind of realized that when the last episode, when she was doing all the witchy stuff at the art gallery as well. So yeah, she's part of the coven. She is working to try to get Dex now to Anna to get this life, and they're done with her. They cut open Addie, they take out so much blood, and they're like, oh, the pure, the youth, and it seems like this is a cycle to keep all of these witches young and around forever. I mean, again, 42 AD to now, these witches have been around for a very, very long time. We thought Lady Gaga's elder supreme lady was the OG witch. It seems like they have been around much longer, much darker forces. Yeah, this ending was quite brutal, quite in your face, but I really did appreciate it, and I really want to know where this now sets up our current story with Siobhan, with Anna. Are they going to legit put her through this? Does Anna win at the end? This episode really kind of upped the stakes a little bit. As much as it's a backstory episode and it's not in our current timeline, I really like that it made me feel even more nervous for our main characters in the current timeline, which to me shows this is a great top-tier backstory episode. Well, that is it for my review of Ava Hestia. I really enjoyed this episode. Probably the best episode I have seen of Delicate yet, just because, again, it was witchy, it was weird, it was crazy. It advanced the story, even though it was a background episode, a filler, kind of let's get in the details of other stuff. As much as it was that, it still gave me something, and I'm so happy that Delicate has stayed strong this entire way. What did you think of this episode? What did you think of my review? As I said in the beginning, thank you guys so much for subscribing to this channel. 7,000 subscribers over that now. It's amazing. It's crazy. We're going to keep building up this channel. Remember, I also have Flickering Myth. You guys can check out my videos there. I do reviews there. I have a new podcast there. If you want more VJ, it's over there. I also have an interview coming up to our channel. If you saw my review for Slay, the Tubi movie, I'm interviewing a cast member from that movie coming to this channel very soon. But my goodness, thank you guys for joining me for Ava Hestia's review. Share your thoughts, comment, subscribe, and let's talk about AHS Delicate right down below.